All right, this is your first Illustrator assignment. I'm going to go through it slower than it needs to be done so that you can kind of get a feel for what's going on. You've had a couple days of wandering the interface. What we're going to do today is basically pretty fun. It's becoming more and more common. You're going to make kind of a cartoon effect using something called image trace. So let's get started. Okay, if you haven't opened Illustrator, this is what the logo looks like. It's down here. See it in the dock? I'm kind of circling it. And it's also up here. And that stands for Adobe Illustrator. So it did not, it could have been IL. I don't know why they did AI, because now with artificial intelligence, it becomes its own problem. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, what I'm going to do is open something and we're going to work on it. I'm going to show you a couple of issues or a couple of things, because you've heard it multiple times, pixel-based art versus vector-based art. So what we're going to basically be doing is taking pixel-based artwork and converting it to vectors. And I can prove that in just a moment. So let's get started here. We're going to open something. Should bring up the dialog. There we go. Okay. Now this picture, I resized it so that, oops, didn't want to do that. Let's hit it, Command Z. That remains the same from Photoshop. A lot of crossover. Tools over here. Basically properties over here. These are different things that all can be accessed. If you hover, you see layers, graphic styles. Something that I use a lot is appearance. You'll see why as you get deeper into it. But if any of these are missing, if you need something here and it's missing, you simply go up to Window, just like Photoshop. Workspace, you want it on Essentials Classic. It may open in Essentials, that's very common. Change it. If you're missing something, reset. So, all right, I'm not going to belabor it because you're going to hear that so many times it's going to make your head spin. So, okay, I've got this open, but first thing, I have no idea how big this is. Now, as pixel-based art, that becomes important because you have what's called resolution. So what I need to do is turn on the rulers. There are different ways to do it. Command R is the shortcut. And you can see up here it's roughly 6 inches long, 6 inches on the side. It's actually kind of an uneven number. It's 6. If you look over here into the transform area, it's 6 inches wide by 5.575 tall. When I crop an image, if I'm trying to create artwork or something and I'm cropping an image to get the area that I want, I don't worry about it being 8 by 10 or 8.5 by 11 or anything. I make it the size that it looks best in. I also do custom picture frames at home and that type of thing. So I can make it any size I want, make it work. So anyway, here we've got this. And let's, at this point, let's zoom in. I want to prove to you that it is pixel-based art. So I'm hitting Command plus. And you can see the pixels. Dark pixel, lighter still. So there's something like 16 million colors available. So let's go back to where we were. And I'm going to hit, to do this quickly, I'm going to hit Command 0. So when you enlarge a photo, what it does, and you can do that in Photoshop, by the way, we never really did it, but what it does is it creates pixels to fill in and go back and, increase the size and that type of thing. So here we are, we've got our pixel-based artwork, and now it's real simple. We're going to hit Image Trace. And boy, doesn't that look like garbage. No one understands why Adobe Illustrator does this, but you have to go up and go to Preset. And notice all these different ways to do it. Each one is different, but we're going to start out for illustrative purposes and hit high fidelity photo. And then it's going to think, because it does take a minute, it literally is converting this to vector-based art. Fitting curves, da, 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 da. So even on a 6x6, it doesn't take long. Wow, it looks exactly the same. So let's move this over. I access the hand tool so I can move something by holding down the space bar. Same in Photoshop. So I'm going to hit File, Save As. There's a reason why it doesn't really like. I'm going to save this on my computer. And I'm going to save this as -1 because I did it earlier just to make sure everything was working correctly. So we're going to hit that, click OK. So now, if you notice, this has now got a name over here of -1.ai. AI is Adobe Illustrator. That is their file format. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a file place, and I'm going to open up a second copy of this. And just like you did in, what's that program? Oh yeah, Photoshop. So we're going to make these both smaller. So I'm going to hit Command-, use my hand tool. Oops. Never mind. We'll put these side by side. Now, the X through this means it's not really here. It's linked to the file that I have in Finder. So we're going to embed a copy of it, and I go up here. And notice I can also take it directly into Photoshop from here and work on it if I want to. But I'm going to hit Embed. So let's zoom in. Let's get real tight and see what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, and I may have to move things around a little bit to get it. We're going to zoom in. And you see the pixels. And if you wonder, we're literally going from, what is it, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. I mean, this is like a 1/16 of an inch. This is tiny. So holding down my space bar again, we're going to move it over. There you can see the pixelization pretty well in that photo. And this is literally going to take me forever if I just zoom it over that way. So let's go back. And let's zoom in on this one. That's a high fidelity photo. And look what happens. All the little pixels over there have been converted to areas of color. And I can literally, if I expand this, I'm not going to, well, let's expand it. You can see those. You can see the boundaries of them. I can go in literally now and change colors if I want to. Now, it would take forever because of what it is, but I'm going to hit Command-Z, undo that. And it has to think again because it's going to go back. And in just a minute, we're going to get what we want out of this. So hit Command-0. Okay, now I've shown you the pixels. I've shown you the vectors. I can get rid of this by clicking on it, hitting delete, because all we want from now on is this. But this looks a lot like a photo. However, I can literally take this and make this big enough, put it on the side of a bus, And they actually do that when you get, those vehicle wraps and stuff. That's what they're doing. They're converting to vectors, make it as big as you want. Okay, so here's the other thing, and this is going to be your assignment, folks. You're going to take a photo that you were working on, in a single photo, not a composite or anything. And, if you want to strip a background or put in a different background, that's up to you. You know how to do it, and you can do the thing in Photoshop, save it, and then bring it into Illustrator. But anyway, we're going to go back here. I want to click on this. We're now to high fidelity photo. What if I just go to 16 colors? Well, let's go to low fidelity photo. And it'll have to go through the same routine. And now you can start seeing the boundaries, because it's only allowed to use 16 colors. Or no. Low fidelity. Never mind. It's like 32 or 64 colors. The high fidelity photo, I don't know that there's a limit on it. So let's go to 16 colors. Doesn't look a whole lot different. Of course, this was fairly, if you think about it, this was fairly monochromatic, or just very few colors to begin with. By the way, this photo was taken at the Orchid Show at the zoo this past year. 16, let's go to 3. Why am I going through all of this? Well, I want you to see what they look like, first of all. But secondly, there is no one setting that's going to look the best, because what you're going to ultimately do is take a picture of yourself and convert it to as close to a cartoon as you can. Now we're going to 6 colors. I kind of like this because it's still recognizable as orchids. The background, that's fine. It is what it is. It's looking fairly abstract at this point, and that's good. But my guess is that with you guys, when you do this, it's going to be your most cartoonish looking one is going to be somewhere in here. I've tried shades of gray when I did the experiment, black and white logo, sketched art, which unfortunately is shades of gray again. And it didn't look good at all, so I'm not going to waste time with that. But we're going to go back to high fidelity photo, showing how you can go back. Just wait until it gets there. And there we are. We're back to where we were. So if you accidentally click one, don't be afraid to experiment with this. So you're going to turn into me a minimum 1 picture of converted to vectors via image trace. And which one of these you choose is up to you. If you do a shades of gray and it looks good, stick with it. I don't care. But I want it to look good. I want you to be recognizable, but I want it to look fairly cartoonish. That's the assignment, folks. Hope you enjoy.